Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
Nice to see you in person again, GR
Oh my
Dad.
goodness, I could reach over and poke at you.
Please don't.
Okay, I will. I am not touching you. I am not touching you.
You're actually quite far away. I don't think you could reach me from there. So.
I'm not going to do the annoying thing where I almost touch you but then don't touch you.
Good.
I don't think I did that as a kid either.
Also good.
No.
The cocktail of the week this week is the tequila honeybee, which is different than the tequila mockingbird.
Yes, and I guess it's all a pun.
I don't know if you're supposed to be like keeling the honeybees here. It's just tequila and
You're not
honey.
supposed to be keeling a mockingbird either. That's the whole point of that the book.
Is it about tequila?
It's about not tequilaing a mockingbird. You shouldn't tequila the mockingbirds.
I'm not sure we're on the same page with this, so let's just proceed
Frog
with the
protection.
The tequila honeybee is tequila, lemon juice, honey syrup, and Angostura bitters, and it's quite tasty.
It's
we
real
made
good.
it tonight.
Tequila and honey are a very good combination, it turns out.
Yeah. I also made for GR Dad last week's cocktail of the week, Dead Nazi, which is a shot that's half Jägermeister and half Rumpelminz, which is like peppermint schnapps, basically.
Yeah, and as expected, I'm left with a somewhat mouth-washy mouth.
It tastes kind of like medicine. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I only had a tiny little sip of it.
It is like medicine.
Gross.
Jägermeister is considered medicinal in Germany.
Yep.
You drink it as medicine for an upset stomach.
Yep.
I mean, pretty much the answer to everything in Germany is you could just try some alcohol.
Maybe that's why all of y'all are so unhappy all the time. Because
Maybe.
you're like, I tried drinking and it did not fix my problems.
When I was 14, I had a flu.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I was in the estimation of my dad being very whiny about it. So he's like, God damn it, here, have a shot of cognac.
Oh.
And I was like, okay.
How'd that go for you?
It was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I did not cure my flu.
No.
May have deterred me from whining in his presence afterwards. So,
Yeah.
intended or unintended consequence. Anyway, yeah, alcohol is a big medicine over there.
Yep.
Jägermeister. Anyway, if it has no other value, this Dead Nazi shot, than to give you minty fresh breath afterwards, that's pretty good.
I mean, that's better than nothing, for
A lot
sure.
of people in bars have bad breath.
Yep.
If you had minty Jäger Rumpelminze all the time, it would be more pleasant. That's all I have to say about
Okay.
that. I see you not rolling your eyes. Very nice.
You ready for Administrative Corner?
I love Administrative Corner. I can't believe it's been a whole week.
I know. We have 2 items for Administrative Corner. One is that you have like 8 days left to order a Vink plushie. Just go to the link in our bio on whatever platform. And
I don't
Vink
have 8
plushies
days
in there.
left because I've already ordered.
I guess we got to get in on the donation ordering.
Yeah, that
I need to give you the list.
We'll be happy to help on that. Yes.
If you want to donate one, that's also in the bio link, and you can buy one, and the money comes to us, and we'll order it and have it shipped directly to someone who needs one.
Correct.
So that's item 1. Item 2 is, you know how sometimes I'm like, oh my God, Ingo, like 5,000 people this week sent me this thing?
Yeah.
This week, 10,000 people sent me a thing.
Wow.
Because it truly was many of my interests integrated together.
Let me get an aside.
Yeah.
When I say things like that, I'm totally making it up and I'm just making up numbers. When you say something like that, I believe that you actually counted them, ran some kind of algorithm to count them, and you're like, oh, it's 9,857. I'm going to round it up to 10,000.
Well, I did not actually count, but
I bet you did.
anyway, the thing that I was sent by like 10,000 people is so in the Boston Marathon, after the Boston Marathon bombings in 2013, a guy brought his dog Spencer out to the course. Spencer's a golden retriever, and he had a little like stick in his mouth with like a Boston Strong flag on one side and then some other flag on the other side. And he held it in his mouth. And every year pictures would go a little bit viral of this dog. So when I ran the Boston Marathon 2 years ago in 2021, in the fall. Normally it's in the spring, but it had been canceled for COVID and canceled for COVID. And so we finally had it in the fall of 2021. I was like, I got to get a picture with Spencer. And at that point, Spencer had also gotten over time a sister named Penny. So there were two of them. And I'm like, all right, they're at like mile 2.5 of the course on the right side. I got to look for him. And I saw him and I was like, you guys, like, you're kind of almost the top reason that I ran this race. I was so excited. And like, they were super nice and they took a picture of me with Spencer, or maybe took a selfie with him.
Yeah.
And I posted it up. And then between 2021 and 2022, he went like extra viral. He had cancer and then like survived cancer. That was in like 2020. So it was like, oh, Boston Marathon dog has cancer. And then it sounded like he was going to die, but he didn't. And then he was back there for 21. So he went super viral. And so when I ran the race again last year in 2022, I was like, got to get my picture with Spencer. And there was like kind of a little line. I did stop and get the picture.
Yeah.
But he was just mobbed, where like before I was like, oh, it's Spencer.
Right.
And nobody knew who it was. Or, a couple people did, but like it was mostly just me getting my picture with Spencer, and everyone wanted their picture with Spencer last year. So sadly, Spencer passed away this, a few months ago.
Didn't Penny also? Oh, sorry. Yep.
Let me tell my story.
Okay.
Yeah, Penny also died. Oh, thanks, Ingo. like a week later. Oh. So Spencer, was old and had cancer a bunch of times, and like, not that it's great when that happens, but it's not like a big surprise. But they absolutely were not expecting to lose Penny just like a week later. And so the Boston Marathon was Monday this week, and basically a bunch of people kind of spontaneously organized that they were all going to bring their golden retrievers to the finish line of the Boston Marathon. So I think they actually all got together on Boston Common on Sunday. The race is on Monday. And they sold like little gold bandanas that benefited the Moore's Animal Foundation Golden Retriever Lifetime Study, which we'll talk about in a bit. And it was just lovely. Like all these people, and then the guy who was like the person of Spencer and Penny was there. He and I are like kind of pals on Instagram. And it was a very lovely tribute. And so everybody sent this to me because it's like marathon, running, golden retrievers, Boston Marathon. Everybody like supported my past two Boston Marathon runs.
Moore's Animal Foundation.
So yes, I mean, that's it. I got like I got the first wave, which is like all these golden retrievers are going to get together. And then it kind of overlapped with the Boston Marathon Golden Retrievers. And then there was like a lull. And then there was like a, hey, Moore's Animal Foundation benefiting. So I got a lot of versions of this. So I'm sorry if I didn't respond to you. It's just like 10,000 people sent it to me.
There are some good looking Goldens in those pictures too. If that were like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition for Golden Retrievers, that's what it would look like. There's some like, lookers.
Okay, then.
If you put Venk in there, she'd probably be ostracized because she looks different.
Venk, I'm so sorry.
She just doesn't quite meet the standards.
Well, it was lovely. This is the first year in 2 years I haven't run the Boston Marathon, and the first year since 2020 that I haven't been planning to run the Boston Marathon, because I was going to run it in April of 2020, and then in September, and then in April of 2021. So there was a lot of like, maybe now. And then I did it twice, and I skipped it this year, and I had extreme regrets. Major regrets.
That's too bad. Is that why we watched Patriot Day? And
No, that was the professor in my psychopathy class told us that the documentary on the Boston Marathon Manhunt, which I guess is on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Manhunt, Boston Marathon Bomber, is very good. I have a hard time watching like terrorism stuff like that, especially like the Boston Marathon one. So I wasn't going to watch it, but he had, and it's Harvard. And so he's like, I was there for it. So obviously, it's a little more impactful for me. Not that he was at the marathon, I don't think, but he was in Cambridge. So anyway, we watched that, and I was like, Ingo, we got to watch Patriots Day, which I had seen before, but you hadn't. So we've had like 2 full evenings of Boston Marathon bombing.
Would strongly recommend both. in the order we did it, it was very interesting because they had the documentary, and there's a lot of footage because people had cell phones and there were a lot of security cameras and all that. So, you saw the actual footage, and I didn't know much, or remember much from 2013, but so it taught me some things too, but it also reminded me of things. So that's worth seeing. And then you watch Patriot Games, and it's
or Patriots Day.
Sorry, Patriots Day, and they use some of the actual footage, like they intercut, the actors with security cam and stuff from the actual footage. It was very interesting. It made the Patriot Day made a lot more sense after watching the documentary. Mm-hmm. It was, but very good, very good, and it was an amazing event with amazing sort of what ifs and lucky breaks and unlucky things and lucky things. It's just such a if that hadn't actually happened, it would be unbelievable.
Yeah. So
a strong recommend if you feel like delving into the history of the Boston Marathon bombing.
Indeed. Okay, it's time for dog updates.
Was that all the administrative corner? Did you do two things?
With Vink plushies, and then Spencer and Penny.
Yes.
Okay. Dog updates. All right. You get to do most of the talking this week on dog updates, but I'm going to go first so then I can let you talk.
Of course. Really?
Vink stole pizza off the counter.
Guac.
I'm sorry. Vink, I can't believe I'd say that about you. You're perfect.
Vink.
Guac stole pizza off the counter. I had made pizza for myself for dinner before you were home last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I had eaten like 2/3 of the frozen pizza. And so there were 2 big pieces left on the counter. And I had left them there to kind of clean up in the morning. And I got up in the morning and Guac was sniffing at him. And I was like, leave it alone, Guac. And Guac could not leave it alone. And I caught him like full paws up on the oven, grabbing the pizza off there. And I went in to stop him.
Surfing the counter.
Because I'm like, I can't let him eat it. Because then, he's going to know that he's going to think it's okay. And so I was like, no. And he's like, I'm like trying to, the pizza slices are bigger than his mouth.
Ugh.
He's trying to, and he had 2 of them stacked on top of each other. And he's trying to chew them and swallow them, but they're like bigger than his mouth. And he's like, I got to get them down before the lady gets here. And so I got there and he's like trying to hide his face. And I got there and I tried to kind of like pull his jaws open, which usually you can do when a dog has something they shouldn't. Absolutely not.
He
was
our
like
dogs. Yeah.
Full force holding onto those pizza slices. And I'm like, I don't need to injure either of us for this. Like,
have the pizza and feel shame.
He has it. And then I said mean things to him. And then he looked real sad. So. That's it.
Don't be charming now.
Now he's like sitting there like with his head tilted all the way backwards looking at us.
He's been more and more sidling up to counters.
Mm-hmm.
It had been, in hindsight, this has been building up.
Well, it happened.
Well, he should feel shame.
Other than that, I haven't done any dog stuff this week. Have you been to the vet at all this week, Ingo?
A little bit. Actually, let me add a coda to that.
Yeah.
Didn't he eat a muffin? He knocked the muffins that you made. Those not English muffins. Biscuits. You made biscuits. You left them on the counter.
Oh, he strawberry
knocked those
shortcake.
off too, like a week later. Yeah.
That was like the next day or something. He stole a shortcake. Yeah.
But didn't eat it.
No, we got that in time.
He likes pizza more than shortcake.
Me too.
Shortcakes. They're not biscuits?
They're kind of biscuits. If I make biscuits, they're like kind of flakier layers, and this is more kind of mixed all together.
And
and
it was
dropped.
confused because it was a little bit more brown than some of the other shortcakes you've made. Yep. Anyway.
All right.
He's a recidivist.
How many times have you been to the vet this week?
Wow. 5, 6 maybe, depending, and it depends on which vet and how far, and some of them are an hour
Give
away.
us the rundown.
Monday was second round of flu shots day. The flu shot, the canine influenza shot, is 1 shot and then another shot within 3 or 4 weeks, and you can't go outside of 4 weeks or else you got to start again with the first shot. And you can't go inside of 3 weeks because otherwise you don't have enough time to form antibodies and it doesn't work as well. So it has to be between 3 and 4 weeks.
Yep.
So we had the four dogs who got their first flu shot about 3 weeks ago, all had their boosters on Monday. So, but it was it was Hopper and Guac.
Yep.
In Marathon, which is an hour away.
Yep.
In the morning. And then at 2, I think it was Brody and Venk at the closer vet that's only 20 minutes away.
Yep.
So that was Monday. And then Wednesday that's today.
Yeah.
I had, this morning I had to bring Remy in for a checkup and his first flu shot. He's the only one who's out of sync.
Yep.
And then in the afternoon I had Venk and Hops for the Morris Animal Foundation annual examination.
Extravaganza.
Yeah.
It's not like a regular checkup, you guys.
No, this is a big deal. They each get a box, like twice the size of a shoebox.
Yeah.
In the mail, and we have to bring that to the vet, and then the vet opens the seal on that thing, and there's blood vials in there, and there's urine samples, there's stool samples, there's hair samples, there's toenail clippings, there's just about everything you can think of that you can poke and prod out of a dog.
Yep.
They want it.
Yep.
So they each had a box, and it took 2 hours, and both Hops and Bank were very brave, bled for science, peed for science, got their toenails clipped, which might have been the most traumatic for Bank.
Pink hates anything around her feet.
Yeah, and they got to take 15 to 17 toenails is what they got to take. And you put it in the vial that says toenails, Venkman.
Yep.
And then you put the vial in a box and you FedEx it back to the Morris Animal Foundation. It's quite a process. It's very scientific.
But Vink didn't pee enough at the vet, so now I caught her pee, and we've got a Tupperware of pee in the downstairs fridge.
It was a combination of her not peeing enough and me not being able to catch it in the tiny vial that they provided with the Morris Animal Foundation.
No, you got to get a separate
I was chasing her around, but, it's just complicated. There's a lot of floof. It's very murky where that stuff comes out, so... So we did not fill the vial, so I'm fixing that tomorrow.
Yep. And then you're done for the week, right?
You'd think that, but no.
What else do you have to do?
She just lobbed me a softball, and I'm going to hit this out of the park. On Friday, I drive up to Miami with Remy for his now 6-week checkup for his cancer.
I put that in my calendar as Remy-Amy.
Remy-Amy.
R-E-M-I-A-M-I.
Mr. Remy-Amy. He's really visiting the Vood Spa.
It's
don't
real
tell
close
anyone.
To the Vood Spa.
Don't tell. Oh, we thought we were going to keep it a secret from you. We actually go to the spa. He gets massages.
That's nice. I would like to do that.
He likes the hot tub the best.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we're doing that. Hopefully we'll get another clean bill of health, frankly, on Friday.
He seems like he's doing great.
Yeah.
He's a nice man.
Yep. He's a nice man.
Anything else you want to add into dog updates?
Dog updates.
All right, seeing none. Moving on. All right. Friend of the squad, Susan sent. So if you're on Twitter, you've seen the thing going around this week of like, what are your food gross out category quiz, which is kind of interesting. And a lot of you don't understand how mold on bread works. Let's just talk about this. So.
I think the study. I think it's important to note the study was designed by a Swiss person. And Swiss researchers, right? It's European.
But it's not about like what's good or bad. It's about what grosses people out. And there's like particular categories of what grosses people out about food.
Yes.
And mold is one of the categories. And the questions about it are if like a thing has mold on it, like would you eat it? Would you cut the mold off and eat it? And there's like yes or no questions. And so it's like if you have a piece of hard cheese and there's mold on it, would you like cut the mold off and eat the rest of the cheese?
Would that make you would that gross you out? Right.
Yeah. Blue cheese, does it gross you out? Like some people get grossed out by blue cheese because it has mold in it.
Yeah.
And then one of the questions is like, if there's a loaf of bread with mold on it, would you cut the mold off and eat the bread? So listen, people, because I've been looking at all of your results that you're posting on Twitter, I wouldn't do it. But you are not going to get sick if you cut some mold off a piece of hard cheese and then eat the rest of the cheese. Because the mold's on the outside. But if there's mold on your bread, the entire bread is infested with mold spores. It's not just on the outside, and if you cut it out, there's no mold. There's mold throughout the bread.
Like the roots go through there.
The roots of the mold, the spores of the mold are in the entire loaf. You cannot eat moldy bread. You're going to get sick. Mold spores are very bad for you, and you can get really sick. Don't do it. If you are worried, or if like your bread molds too fast, obviously, like, you shouldn't keep it on your counter if you're not going to eat it in a couple days because it will get moldy. You keep it in your fridge. But if your bread is getting moldy in your fridge, you can freeze your bread and it's fine. Like, bread freezes great. And then, so if you're like, I buy 8 hamburger buns, but there's no way I eat them before I get moldy, like,
this is a good example.
keep 2 of them and then put the other 6 in your freezer. And they will stay good for a long time. You take them out and you toast them and they taste fine. They can keep a long time in there. But don't just cut mold off your bread and eat it. You're going to get sick.
It's almost like you have some kind of food science information.
I have so much, and I'm very upset about all these people who are like, I just cut the mold off the bread.
The Europeans do that too. It's crazy. Like, if you can't see it, it can't hurt you. That's actually not science anymore.
Oh my God. The things that people misunderstand about like nutrition and biology and food safety, not just the European in my household, but people in general.
I'm guilty.
I mean, you've stopped doing the bread thing.
I don't want to do anything that upsets you.
I know, but this isn't a me thing, right? Like, that's the thing about this survey. Like, there's a thing in there where it's like, if a cockroach crawled on your food, would you still eat it? Like, absolutely 100% not. I would not eat it. But it's not going to make you sick. Like, that just grosses me out.
Which is actually what the survey was after, and not, it just shows, it eludes, it kind of hints at the fact that the people who wrote the survey don't think there's anything health-wise wrong with cutting.
I don't think that's an implication at all. It's just about, like, what makes you think it's gross. Like, the hygiene stuff, it's like the food safety hygiene stuff is kind of important.
Yes.
It could make you sick. Like, that doesn't mean it, like, necessarily grosses you out. Like, they're not making any statements about, like, dangerousness or not.
But I think they should not give it... The way they're phrasing it is like, from a food safety perspective, it doesn't really matter if you just cut mold off or you don't.
That's not true. This is the thing that you've inferred on top of it. It's just, is this gross or not?
They're giving you the idea that you can cut around the mold.
That's just, some people do that.
Well, they will now.
Think it's gross. Oh, dear Lord. You guys, the stuff that non-scientists don't understand about science, and I'm talking about the European in my house right now, just, it hurts my brain sometimes.
Wait, what did I do? I'm just saying it'll give people bad ideas.
But
bad ideas.
You know what? We don't need to talk about this.
I never thought about cutting around the mold in cheese. Now I'm thinking about it. After this survey, I'm definitely thinking about it. It's a bad idea, but I'm thinking about it.
So this item in Ramblings is that because of this, our friend of the squad, Susan, sent to Ingo this screenshot of Best of Nextdoor, which I think comes from Facebook. I guess it must be, Nextdoor Marketplace. That says Maggie is selling chicken teddy bears. And Ingo's like, did you see the chicken teddy bear? And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I pictured like a teddy bear, but instead of like a plushy teddy bear, it was a plushy chicken. And I was like,
your heart.
I don't know why that's so upsetting, but what this actually is a teddy bear made out of raw chicken stitched together. And it says, Maggie is selling chicken teddy bears. Chickens have plenty of extra parts. I can make 2 bears. $25 if you supply your own chicken. $35 if I supply the chicken. Edible and can be cooked. ; Great family activity. Can also make clothes.
It's got stitches. I mean, it looks like Frankenstein's monster.
Absolutely looks like a teddy bear, except it's made out of chicken skin.
It looks like Frankenstein's monster. Put that thing in a lightning storm and it'll start walking around.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. It may be fake, but it's still, there is an image of a stitched together teddy bear out of
made out
meat.
Of chicken.
Some kind of meat.
Chicken. It says chicken.
Well, yeah. Yes. It's terrible. Would not.
Anyway.
Do not support. Unnecessary.
Ingo wanted that to go into ramblings this
Yeah,
week. So.
I think, if we're talking about disturbing things, that disturbs me more than the food survey thing. Would not touch.
For Taste of the Keys this week, one of our favorite places, Firefly, has closed.
And it isn't our fault.
No.
This one, you can't blame us for, guys.
So they had a yard sale on Saturday, they called it, where basically they were, just clearing out their stuff. So I bought a clipboard for $1. They had like office supplies.
They had the menu covers, menu covers too, but the like check books that they give you the check in.
Yeah.
Sad.
Little, like bar carts. There was some barware. There was some booze. We got a bottle of champagne. I don't know what kind it is.
Halloween decorations.
Yeah, I got Hazmat Barbie.
And a head.
and a head.
I got...
Oh, go ahead.
Underberg.
Yeah, we kind of cleaned out a few good things from their bar. So we got the bottle of champagne. They make a cocktail there, which we've actually had on here, called the Strawberry Spritz, which you make with strawberry syrup. And they actually showed me, like, one point I was like, these are so good and I don't know how to make it. I've tried. And they're like, you need this brand of strawberry syrup, which I have bought from Amazon. So I got the strawberry syrup. So strawberry syrup, elderflower tonic.
Who has that?
Lillet Blanc and rosé, like sparkling rosé. And so for elderflower tonic, like Fever Tree makes tonic water, elderflower flavored tonic water. So that's what I've been using. And the drink I make is good, but it's not the same as there. And when we were at the thing, they have these bottles of not tonic water like sparkly water, but like a syrup sort of elderflower tonic.
It looks like something that used to be in apothecaries.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's what they use in the drink that I like so much. They had 2 bottles of it there. I mean, they'll make a lot of drinks. So I was like, we're buying both of those. But they also had Underberg, which you've ordered there a few times, which is this extremely bitter German digestif. But it comes in these you got one, these teeny tiny little, like, is that a 1 ounce bottle?
Maybe 0.2. Yeah. I mean, it's like a small shot.
It's like smaller than a shot. And they look super old school. It's like a brown bottle with a paper wrapper and like a green cap on it.
It's 0.67 fluid ounces. It's very small.
Yeah, not even an ounce. But this is what they come in, these bottles, and it absolutely looks apothecary.
Yeah, Underberg is one step more herbal than Jägermeister. Like, they don't try to make it sweet. They don't try to make it really drinkable. It's called a Magenbitter. And you if you have too much fatty food, which in Germany is every day, you will drink some alcohol afterwards, because, as I said, alcohol fixes everything. Mm-hmm. The more herbal, the better. The more bitter, the better, because it's supposed to cut the grease. And so you'll have a little Underberg.
Why is herbalness necessary to cut this thing that you always call grease, but you mean fat?
Yes.
Why does it have to be bitter herbal flavored in order to effectively... let's just start there. Why does the flavor matter for this chemical interaction?
Witchcraft.
Okay, we don't need to continue further then. Excellent.
Witchcraft. I've never tried pouring this onto, for example...
That was going to be next. Let's take some melted butter and pour that on it and see what happens, because I know precisely what will happen.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
What will happen? It'll catch on fire.
Oh, you guys have
Will it congeal? That'd be funny.
No. Anyway, these Underbergs, we'll do this experiment after. But we will not use your Underberg, though. We'll just use like some canola oil and some vodka. You know what? You can drink it if you want to, but that will not be the goal.
I didn't say I wanted to drink it.
No.
I wanted to recreate this in my stomach, not in the pan. Anyway, we grabbed a handful of Underbergs.
There were like 10 of them on the counter, and they were $2 each. And I was like, why don't we just take all of this? No one else will want them.
Right.
some lady actually it was pretty crowded when we got there, and some lady was holding one of them, and when I spotted them, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna take a bunch of these. And I was like, I don't want to take all of these if you want them. She's like, well, I don't know what it is. And I was like, it's kind of like Jägermeister, but more bitter. And she handed hers to me. She's like, you can have it. And I was like, excellent.
You were being honest. You weren't trying to deter her.
No,
even though it worked completely.
No, it was just like, why are we going to leave half of them? They're trying to sell all their stuff and get it out of here.
Yeah.
We'll take them. But yeah, if she wanted half, I would have split them with her. But she was like, oh, nope. We got some T-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
We had quite a haul.
Yeah, we didn't get the flying ghost that we wanted.
Yeah, I bet they threw that out. There was like a Halloween ghost decoration, like a skeleton with like some, fabric, spooky fabric that would hang on the porch by the table we sat in all the time. We were very attached to that guy. I would have bought him if he were there, but I don't think he was.
Yeah, it was just very sad, right? It was like a favorite restaurant of ours, and they're selling their shelves, and they're selling their tables, and you just everything they can get $1 for. We got a little pitcher thing, right? Like a
like a little like a mason jar kind of container with like a spigot at the bottom.
Yeah, that's good for punch.
Punch.
Or what did you used to make for me? Cold brew.
Cold brew.
That was awesome. Those were the days. That's when I was super awake 23 hours a day. Because the cold brew kicks ass.
That stuff's delish.
It sure does.
Yeah, it's too bad. But when they closed, we absolutely were like the best customers of that place.
And they actually
in terms
said
of
that.
frequency. They also liked us, and we were the best that way. But we just went there more than everybody else. So when they announced that they were closing on Facebook, somebody sent me the link, and I was like, oh my God, like I come all the time. And they're like, yeah, we're going to miss you. And I was like, I will miss you too. Could I please have your pimento cheese recipe? And I was like, I mean, I absolutely would have taken it, but I didn't think they'd give it to me. And when we were checking out, the owner was like, I forgot to send you the pimento cheese. Like, send me an email and I'll send you the recipe.
You're like, really? That's great.
She emailed me the recipe. So I got to get the right stuff for it, but I will make some, and then we'll have a little pimento cheese and cracker toast to Firefly.
So now we're looking for a new restaurant. Sad.
When I sent her an email that was like, hey, this is Jen. Just you asked me to send an email about the pimento cheese recipe. And I was like, I just want to say that, like, we loved you guys so much. Like, obviously we came all the time and the food was good, but like, it was a place where, like, if either of us were having a bad day, we could just go there and have dinner, and we know we'd feel better by the time we were done. And like, that's a good thing, right? There's plenty of places we can go and like the food is good, but if it's just like, oh, my day is so crappy, could we just go to Firefly and have dinner and like, know you're going to feel better? Like, that's a great thing to find.
It was not quite like Cheers, but it was a place where we felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And familiar, and it was just the comfort food, and just everything was good about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Too bad. Don't get that too often.
No, that's right. All right, it's time for German word of the week.
I have another taste of the keys.
What?
1B.
All right, go ahead.
There was the Southernmost Air Spectacular last weekend and the Naval Air Base that we have here.
I knew you were going to talk about this.
Well, I just think it's worth mentioning. The Blue Angels were here. The Blue Angels are a national thing. We were thinking about going. It was Saturday and Sunday. And then Saturday we drove into town, and there was literally a 5-mile line.
It wasn't. Well, it actually was that long.
Because we drove past it, and it's a naval base, right? Or a naval air base. So they have, one real entrance, but they opened up like the back exit entrance too. But the backup on Route 1 to get in was 5 miles.
It was, yeah. And it's only one road, and it's one lane a lot of the way.
So we decided not to try that.
It would have been
because it sounded terrible. Plus, it's hot, and runways are hot, and all these things.
Yeah.
But we did see the Blue Angels from our house doing cool stuff with smoke and formations, so that was cool.
Yep. Yeah, not as close up as if we had been there.
Correct. It was not quite as loud, but we could hear it.
There was one tourist who got arrested for smoking pot laced with fentanyl.
50-year-old dude in his car on the Naval Air Base during this thing. Like, the thing about pot is it's not that secret.
It's also not legal in Florida, you guys.
And I bet it's not legal on a naval air base.
And especially if it has fentanyl in it. Stop it.
I mean, but also, it smells
Yeah, no
very
kidding.
potently. I bet you some, naval MP was like, I'm just going to follow my nose here. I don't need a dog. So yes, the secondary 1C of Taste of the Keys would be 50-year-old, arrested for smoking fentanyl-laced pot joint on Naval Air Base during Blue Angels formation or whatever.
For being an idiot.
For being an idiot. Yeah.
Now is it time for German word of the week?
Yes. It's oh, me? Okay. So the German word of the week is Bremse,
Bremse.
which has a dual meaning. Two
Ooh.
meanings, one word. It mainly means brakes, like handbrake, disc brake.
Yeah.
Bremse is something that decelerates something.
Die Bremse an meinem Auto
Ist kaputt.
ist
Exactly. Bremse. Muss stark bremsen, als mein Vordermann langsamer fuhr. So Bremse, but it also means horsefly.
Oh.
So as I was experiencing the other day, when a fly lands on you and bites you,
Yeah.
that's a Bremse.
Oh.
I don't know why that is. I haven't looked up the etymology, but etymology?
Both in this case.
Yeah. It's Bremse could mean either, yes.
Bremse.
I'm sure there's a German pun that uses both meanings.
Da ist ein Bremse an meine Bremse.
Yeah. So there you go. Bremse.
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 Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go.
If you have anything left, it's time for Ingo Corner, where you can say whatever you want.
Oh, thanks for writing me, peoples. I love that people are writing me paper letters in handwriting. I think that is
very excited.
I think that is so cool that sounds terrible. But even like kids in college and, are writing me handwritten letters. I think it's very exciting. I think it's great. I used to write a lot of handwritten letters. I don't anymore. I type, but I appreciate it and it's great. So if you ever feel so moved, send me one. I'll be very happy.
That's great. Our P.O. Box address is in the link in our bio.
Correct. So thanks.
Anything else?
No.
All right.
Is that not enough? What do you want from me?
Ingo, it's far more than enough.
What do you want from me? I'm having a moment over here and you're like, nah. Give us more.
I'm really tired.
Give us more.
No, I'm glad to be done. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. And until next week, Slava Ukraini, and don't put anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.